Hello, hello, and welcome to Of All the Places podcast. We are hanging out with KDK and my homie Ben, the Juice, doing his thing. He's always the Juice. We're just going to stick with it.
We're sticking with the Juice. It's official.
The Juice it is. We got a great guest today, Katie. I'm pretty psyched about this one.
I'm super hyped because I don't know him at all.
So we're talking about Mark Thieszen, and he is the owner-operator of Homestake Lodge cross-country ski area. I'm sure there's an official name to it that I'm saying wrong, but
That's probably right.
I don't run into Mark too often, but every time I do, I just love the dude. He's just got great energy.
I mean, I don't really know it. Well, I don't know him, and I don't know anything really about Homestake Lodge. But what I do know, it's pretty cool, and it's right here in our backyard.
It's literally like a world-class facility, like right over there. We can see it from here, probably.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's like not the most easiest thing to run. You live on the side of a mountain. It's but man, is it something else. We're so lucky.
I'm so excited.
So yeah, we're gonna talk to Mark Thieszen today, and that's about it. We're gonna just do it up.
We're gonna dive right in.
All right, Juice, give it to us, buddy. Boom. All right, let's do this. Mark, what's happening, buddy?
Dude, just trucking along.
Thanks for hanging out with us today.
I'm happy to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
I've got a full transparency moment. I had to Google you a little bit last night.
Oh no.
Yeah, you're a shifty internet fella. There's not a lot of you out there.
I keep a low profile.
The one article I did find was from like 2009, and I think most of the article explain how to pronounce your last name.
Awesome.
Thieszen, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
More or less?
Thieszen.
All right.
Yeah.
Is that like Dutch?
German. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
It used to be the letter S was in there. I'm probably butchering that, but yeah, it's a German letter.
Well, S's and Z's shouldn't be next to each other.
No, they shouldn't.
But thanks for coming. Shouldn't you be out like grooming trails or doing something up at
Absolutely
Homestake?
should be, but it's been a rough December. But we're getting there. I did a bunch of grooming the other night and making snow, and our snow making is like a real farmer setup. So it's stressful and don't get a lot of sleep, but it's rewarding when you get some snow made.
Man,
Yeah.
that has to be so much work.
It is, yeah. But you find the work that you enjoy doing, right? And I enjoy trying to problem solve and learn stuff and work outside. And then when you get to see people enjoy it, it's so awesome. Because I've had other jobs where you like work super hard and then nobody enjoys it.
That sounds about right.
So
that's why they call it work.
yeah. But I mean, to work to produce something that somebody enjoys. So I'm sure Katie and Ben, you guys like, there's times where you're beating your head against the wall recording music, but then when you do a show and you see people love it, you're like, oh, this is amazing.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely. So can you tell us and the people, what do you do right now?
I do everything. No, so my wife and I and our kids run Homestake Lodge. So we are, 15, 20 minutes outside of Butte up on Homestake Pass. A lot of people don't even realize we're there, but the lodge has been there since 2007. And so all winter we do cross-country skiing or Nordic skiing. Last year we took over 800 elementary school kids skiing in conjunction with Mile High Nordic.
Wait, all at once?
Yeah, all at once.
God.
Too. No, I'm just kidding.
I was like, that's chaos.
God bless
It's chaos anyway, but it's like 30 to 50 kids a day.
Okay.
And
Still chaos.
Third graders and fourth graders, and they say the wildest things.
For sure.
It's so much fun, but it's cool because a lot of kids don't get to spend as much time outside anymore. And so, sorry, I already derailed it, but we do a lot of cross-country skiing, do a lot of different events with that in the winter. And then in the summer, we do a lot of weddings and family reunions and small corporate or nonprofit retreats. And then also just people coming through traveling will stay at our cabins. So when you say cabin, that can mean a lot of different things, but they're kind of like luxury little houses. They're super nice, and the lodge is really nice, and it's just a peaceful, quiet place up there in the Boulder Batholith near the Great Divide. It's just a really cool place to explore. Super
It is
fun.
super cool. It's just gorgeous up there.
Yeah, there's just wild rock formations, and we actually have a lot of wetlands, so we get moose, and
Oh my
so
gosh.
it's a lot of maintenance.
Yeah.
I bet. How much ground is there? Like, technically.
We own 155 acres, and then we have a special use permit with the Forest Service for our ski trails that go farther out than that. So,
Wow.
yeah, we're maintaining like over 20 miles of trails and roads and stuff like that.
So you need to leave.
Yeah. See ya.
No, I need a break. I
got
need
work
to
to do.
hang with John.
No,
Yeah,
this is
let's do
great.
Well, we haven't actually hung out a whole lot.
No.
I was thinking about this too last night, where one of the first times that I ever bumped into you was one of the Snowflinga meetings, and it was in that corner room in Metals. And I didn't know you at the time, but I was like, what the hell, man? There's cool people that are my age in town. What's going on? Yeah, and then we bumped into each other a handful of times after that, and I was just like, yes, people like cool people exist.
Wow, that's exactly how I feel like bumping into you and other people. And actually, I used to have to go to these super random meetings when I worked for the county, and Cassie was there, and I was like,
Trouble.
she seems really cool. I never hung out with her, but
Right.
it's like,
Well,
you could just kind of sense like, oh, they seem on the same kind of
Yeah, the
wavelength.
for sure. But I do think that you're kind of like where you live, kind of way up in the sticks. You're kind of like the Grinch, only after his heart grew 2 sizes.
Oh, I appreciate that.
That was,
Do you live up there?
Yeah, year round.
Oh my gosh.
So it's awesome because it's, like I said, 20 minutes to town. So
Yeah.
our kids get to do, sports and stuff in town, but we get to be in the woods, man.
Oh my
And
gosh,
You feel
I'm
like you're in the middle of
jealous.
nowhere.
That's
So
so cool.
jealous.
I'm so jealous. That
Me too.
sounds
I'm jealous
amazing.
of myself. But
Yeah. It's so cool.
wait, can we back up a little bit? Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Fort Collins, Colorado, and spent a lot of time in northwestern Colorado, like north of Steamboat a ways.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, mostly Fort Collins.
And then what was that like? What's Colorado like?
Man,
Have you
it's
been
not
there?
the same.
Have you been there like since? Do you go back there a bit?
Yeah, a lot of my family's there.
Okay.
So we don't spend a lot of time in Fort Collins, but north of Steamboat. But Colorado's just like talking about a state that's done a massive change. Like it's just unrecognizable overall as a state. And then Fort Collins has just grown so much that, it's a longer drive to get partway across town than it is for us to get to town. And we live,
Jeez.
on the other side of the Continental Divide.
Yeah.
So Colorado's amazing. It's kind of like California, amazing place, but too many people for me. So, it was weird because you're on the Front Range, so it's right where the plains meet the mountains, and so people like the outdoors, but it's not the same as most places in Montana where the outdoors are a part of most people's lives
Yeah.
to the same degree.
There is a little different vibe there, right? Like,
Yeah, very different.
You're a mountain town, but you're not quite in the mountains.
Right.
Ish?
Yeah, not a mountain town, I'd say. But you can get to the mountains pretty quick.
Right.
And then but Colorado's history is very different, like a lot more, like Montana has such a strong union background, especially coming out of Butte. And so the laws are very different in some of those regards. And just kind of the vibe of Butte in that way of a little less independent and more there for each other in Montana in some ways.
I always feel like Montana is what Colorado used to be before Colorado turned into California.
That's a good way of putting it. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's, going back, long back differences, but there's a lot of ruggedness. Like, man, when we went to Anaconda the first time, or you're like, man, this reminds me of these little towns in Colorado that used to be these random little mountain towns. And now, you can't afford property anywhere near them.
Right.
But, so yeah, definitely some similarities there.
That's cool.
Wyoming's a good buffer,
Yeah,
That's what we say.
That's a real good call.
Yeah.
All right. And you have any siblings or anything? that you
Yeah,
get to
older
pass
brother,
around?
older sister.
Nice.
They're awesome. They're down there.
So you're the youngest.
I am the youngest, and I benefited from that.
There's a lot of us in the house.
Oh, nice.
Only it's me and all the little brothers.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
how did I get here?
So did you get like beat up and thrown into, dog crates and thrown down the side of a mountain somewhere?
I mean, I got like beat up, told to jump off the roof, fun stuff like that. But all like it with so much love. My older brother's 6 years older than me, and so that's like a big enough gap where he really like brought me along on so many things and taught me so much. And my older sister, was just real sweet with me. And so, yeah, we had our kids and sibling stuff, but man, we just had a lot of fun playing together outside.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it's supposed to be like, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, so you graduate. Wait, we've got to be about the same age, right?
I'm 42.
40. Yeah, I'm 43.
I think.
Cool.
Yeah.
I know. I'm kind of there too. After you're 21, it doesn't really matter.
No, it stops counting.
Yeah. So same age.
How about
Pretty
that?
much. Yeah.
And then what happens after, you're growing up, you're just ripping around Colorado.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, real influential for me at that time was in the summer. My parents had a cabin north of Steamboat, like it's just out in the middle of nowhere, and they let me live there by myself. So it was like 4 or 5 hours away from there they lived. Wow. But I like found jobs like working at guest ranches and stuff like that. So just spending a lot of time by myself, reading, exploring, adventuring, and I'm just really thankful it was like pre-cell phones, pre-internet, like just having fun. And that I think really influenced like just wanting to be outside doing stuff.
Well, I mean, Ben and I were talking before this, like your kids probably have like a free range lifestyle. They get to live like in this majesty. And that's hard to do nowadays.
It is.
And it sounds like that's a little bit how you were brought up as well.
Yeah. And so we're really thankful to get to have them do that. And it's fun that they get to share that with people who come and visit. And so, yeah, it's I don't know. I encourage people to go spend time outside. Just go sit in the woods.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are like, I have to go do a hike or I have to do this. It's like, no, just go sit on a rock for a while.
Exactly. So, forest bathing.
There you
Yeah.
go. That's what it's called now. Yeah. Yep.
Cool. And then I'm curious how you go from Colorado to Montana. What does that look like?
I was really into snowboarding, still am, but really loved snowboarding in high school. And in Colorado, there's like some really good schools and there's some really good snowboarding. But my perception at the time was that there wasn't good schools close to good snowboarding. And so I was real interested in MSU and then the Western University Exchange program. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, I came up to MSU and, snowboarded a lot.
Was your goal at the time to kind of become a professional snowboarder?
No, I never really had that as a goal. I never saw a path towards that, I guess. I never saw that demonstrated as like something I could follow or I just loved doing it.
Just every single day you're going up to Bridger.
Oh, man. like a lot of times, freshman and sophomore year, you have so many classes that like it was every night. We were just on campus hitting rails. We would... Nice. In like November or October earlier, we would go to the ice rink. And what the Zamboni picks up is basically snow. It's kind of like slush. And so they would dump it and we'd shovel it into a pickup, drive to Butte and set up handrails.
No way.
My God.
So you have like 10 feet of snow, a handrail over dry concrete, and then like a 8-foot landing of snow.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
Where would you do that?
What?
You would do that here in town?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Like at the... nobody get mad at me, but like at the IC church, there's like a down, flat down, really big handrail. We'd come do that and at Tech. So yeah, we didn't do that all the way to Butte much, but a couple of times, but all the rails on the MSU campus all the time and all around Bozeman.
That's sweet.
Yeah, it was a good time.
I just picture you like, I feel like you are the type of boy that is too smart to get in trouble.
I stayed out of trouble mostly.
I was like, he's one of these guys that like does it, but doesn't get in trouble.
Right.
Yep.
That's the vibe. Yeah.
Yeah. It was more like we went hard, but security and police, and we found that it was if you just stayed calm and nice, then they were pretty chill because they didn't care about you. You realize pretty quickly like we got a complaint, so we have to come talk to you, but we're not here to.
You're not destroying anything, you know, you're not being...
Scratching some paint sometimes, but...
well...
On like handrails. Like,
plenty of other things also scratch paint.
It's true. So, yeah, we had a great time. And then, Bridger was just... I mean, the terrain at Bridger, the hiking terrain, is so fun, and the snow quality. So it's funny looking back and like making fun of yourself. So growing up in Colorado, you're like, Colorado's got great skiing, and you're like, yeah, it's got great intermediate groomers. There's exceptions, but I mean, overall, it's really high. Most of the terrain's really flat. There's not a lot of rocks. We had some great terrain parks, but a place like Bridger Bowl is just so fun.
Yeah. God, we're spoiled.
Yeah. Bridger's amazing.
We just don't tell anybody about Discovery, because
I don't even know about this place you call Discovery.
Yeah.
well, no, Discovery is like a euphemism for like a place that you might discover.
Oh,
Right.
That's it.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, so what year is this that you're over in Bozeman?
2001 through 5. Yeah. And I listened to your podcast. So you guys were in Bozeman.
Yeah, we both went to MSU. Ben started in 2012 and I started in 2013.
Nice.
But yeah, go Bobcats.
There you go.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you study over there?
Business management.
I mean, outside of snowboarding.
Yeah,
It's like-
no, snowboarding was the
Yeah.
main.
Also, you minored in school.
Yeah, no. So I studied business management and with a minor in entrepreneurship, and really wasn't sure what direction I wanted to head. My dad was a doctor, so that interested me. My brother became a doctor, and he was in a phase where he wasn't enjoying it. Turns out it wasn't the practice of medicine. It was working for the Air Force and some of the things that he was having to do at the time. But then came to really enjoy it. So I really enjoyed my business law classes and felt that I could pick that up easily, and that there's a lot I could do with a law degree. And so then decided to go become a lawyer. But more importantly, I got my MR degree in college. I found my wife, locked that down.
I love that.
So
she's a good egg too.
oh man, she's the best.
Okay, so you found kind of a passion out of your school towards the business law side of things.
Yeah, my business law classes were the most interesting. So I was like, oh, maybe I'll enjoy law school and could do something with that. And got a scholarship back down in Colorado and was still technically an in-state student. And so went back down to Boulder for 3 years. That's a beautiful place. And
I've heard it's pretty amazing.
got into rock climbing and all that sort of stuff. So
Man, so you just like professional player. You just
yeah,
played
I
a
am
lot.
very good at playing. Dude, I have so many hobbies.
Man.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I don't get to do them anymore. But that's interesting because like when I was doing office work for so many years, like I had to go play. I had to have that release. I had to be outside as far as like, skateboarding, snowboarding, climbing, fishing. Like, I had to do that to keep me sane. Whereas at my current job, I just work so much, but I enjoy it and I'm outside that, like, given the opportunity, I just keep working.
Yeah.
So this takes you get your law degree, and then you start becoming a practicing lawyer.
Yeah, so a lot of lawyers, when they get out of law school, you take the bar exam, and something that
Sounds gross.
Yeah, no thanks.
it is gross. But I became a clerk for a Supreme Court justice at the Montana Supreme Court. And so a lot of people do clerkships. And so it's known that it's just going to be a year job. And so in 2008 to 2009, we lived in Helena. And that's when we had our first kid. And so, we enjoyed Helena. We weren't sure what we were going to do after. I don't know if you guys remember, there was this little thing called the financial crisis.
Yeah, about that time.
Yeah. So it was wild from my perspective. It was really like I had friends that went to big law firms and then got dropped from those firms, or were at like really premier clerkships, like big federal clerkships, and had a job promised to them. And then they said, sorry, we're pulling that job back. And so it was a wild time as far as not much work available. Like everything was like, what is going on? And so I was in Helena, and one of the Supreme Court justices, not the one I clerked for, but Judge Morris, is a Butte boy. And man, at that time, like most of the Supreme Court had Butte connections. But he's now a federal judge up in Great Falls. But I went to him, and there was a prosecutor job here in Butte working for the county, prosecuting crimes. And I was wanting to get trial experience, and that's a great way to do it. And I said, well, I like Butte. And he said, oh, yeah, you'd love Butte. There's like, don't tell anybody, but there's hunting and fishing and skiing and, you know, and that's probably one of my favorite things about Butte is that stuff that we would do in, you know, after work on a weekday is what friends in other states do as their big activity on a Saturday,
Right.
you know, or like, you know, they take a vacation to do those things. And it's like, yeah, we did that Wednesday after work.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
Like I
It's
said,
so
we're
true.
super spoiled.
yeah.
Yeah.
Everything that we enjoy is right here.
Yeah.
And that's the best part.
And like not populated. There's nobody out there doing it.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
No, it's funny when we moved to town, like we'd be mountain biking and be on the CDT and you'd like run into another mountain biker. And when we'd been in Bozeman or in Boulder, you're like, oh, hey, or like get out of the way, you know, politely. But here you're like, stop. And you're like, who are you? Could we be friends?
yes,
That's exactly it. Yeah.
true. It's so true because that's the only person you're gonna see the entire time.
Yeah.
You're like, do you live here? What are you doing?
Yeah.
Let's hang out.
Like at the time we had like a Subaru Outback with a topper and like in Bozeman and Boulder, you're like, oh, we're so cliche. And then in Butte, you're like, do you want to be friends?
Wait a minute. And so, yeah.
Want to hang out later?
So
That's fun. No, I have the same kind of attitude where like you got to do your 9 to 5, but that's not what really inspires you. You know, I need my like quota of fresh air every day.
Oh,
whether
for
that's
sure.
And even lately, I'm just walking to work and back, and that seems to hold off the crazies for a little while. But
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
totally relate. Like we've got something good here.
It's that cleansing and refueling and
It's that forest.
keeping
bathing.
things in perspective. You know, I feel like it's really easy to lose perspective on a lot of things. And then you go outside and bump into people or don't and change your perspective on stuff. But yeah, so we were in Helena and there was a job opportunity at Butte, Silver County. So I came as a deputy county attorney and prosecutor and
Deputy county attorney
Yeah.
prosecutor.
Yeah,
Did you
dang.
get a
Deputy county
badge?
attorney.
I
Yeah.
feel
they
like-
didn't. Everybody else in the office had a badge.
What?
But they had gotten them like a couple of years before. And so I didn't.
Doggone it.
But it was fun. And I mean, you know, it being in Butte and doing everything from misdemeanors through felonies, because it's not like other places where it's divided up. It was, I mean, the stuff you see is wild. And I mean, that stuff happened in the town I grew up in, but I was sheltered from it because, you know, you're just a kid and you don't see all the things that are happening at 2 a.m. And so, yeah, you learn a lot and you see some wild stuff. And
Does that change your perspective on a community?
I think if you base it entirely on that, yeah. But I think, and knew enough to be like, well, I'm just seeing stuff that most people don't see.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
So,
that can't be easy. Do you have
No.
did you find yourself compartmentalizing? Like, as soon as I'm done with work, like I've got to shut it down
yeah.
or I'll go
Yeah.
bananas.
Yeah, just trying to not dwell on some of those things and you know, there were some really great prosecutors in the office like Mike Clegg and Sam Cox. And I mean, stuff that they're not going to go sing their own praises, but like a lot of the cases that Sam handled are just horrible things, you know, that if I helped him on some of those cases, like if I don't have to look at the photos, like don't, you know, and so, yeah, there was stuff that even in there I sheltered myself from. And then, like you said, you got to go home and, you know, I had to go do something physically active. And that was a good reset.
It's real cleansing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's heavy stuff. That's an intense job.
So, as a prosecutor, are you standing up yelling the word objection at people?
At the, you know, yeah, so to get the judge's attention, not
I
at
object.
people. I don't object to people. I object to bad
John.
questions.
Well, I'm just
That's
saying,
more like
Objection.
trying to set
Yeah.
the stage here.
Yeah, no, trial's fun. It's wild, man. And, you know, there's stuff that some trials you do really good, sometimes you don't. And, but
I mean, I
sometimes
don't
you,
know what it's like to be a lawyer. Like, what is it like?
it's a
It's
lot
gotta
of
be
reading
so
and
much
writing.
crap, I bet.
Yeah, you know, there's attorneys who've been, even litigation attorneys for 15 years who've gone to trial maybe once, you know, or twice. And then there's others that go a lot. But in the, you know, prosecutors and public defenders, they go to trial more than most other attorneys. And they just go to court more, have more hearings. A lot of other attorneys, there's some hearings, but it's a lot of just briefing and that sort of thing. So And I guess just the short notice, like in the civil world, you have a lot of time usually. Whereas a prosecutor, sometimes something's dumped in your lap and you got to stand up and, take a position on something. That's not like say a full trial, but you got to just hop on it.
Man. Oh, so that probably makes you a semantical wizard in some form, right?
At times, yeah.
Because that would be a skill you would need
Yeah, I got to parse the language
to
and
do the law.
Yeah.
So maybe he can help us out with our debate that Shannon and I had about opportunity versus...
Oh.
What was the other word?
Oh, God. Ben?
It wasn't perspective. It was
Oh, my
opportunity.
God.
Well, hear me. I'll
Was it
try to explain.
potential?
Potential it is.
Potential
yeah.
versus opportunity.
That's Ben coming up clutch from the cheap seats.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
So opportunity and potential. And this was on a previous episode. And I kind of have like this funky relationship with the word opportunity. And it's because a lot of people talk about how there's so many opportunities. There's so much that could be done here. And I don't love that. I understand it because to me, the word opportunity means, one, what I'm currently looking at isn't good enough. And two, nothing's being done yet.
Mm.
And I don't like either of those two things. I want to see some action, and I want, and then and her rebuttal was, yeah, I use the same word. It's called potential.
Yeah. And do you like that better?
I don't know what I like. Looking for your insight.
Well, to me, opportunity means a town near Crackerville. So there's that.
Cool. So it's potential.
Yeah. All right.
No,
that's it.
I'll text
if
Shannon
you
now.
ever have the chance, sometimes if you're on the phone with somebody who you have to call customer service for something and they're like, Butte, that's a weird town name. You're like, yeah, it's right next to Crackerville. And they just listening to people try to hold it together. It's so fun. But yeah, I guess I don't hold a grudge towards the word opportunity or potential, but I hear what you're saying on how someone is clouding the judgment of a place by describing it like, oh, you have a lot of potential means you're not taking advantage of it. Right. But I think I would view Butte has a lot of opportunities and potentials. Doesn't mean nothing has been done. Like a lot of awesome things have been done, but I think there's still room to do a lot more. And I don't think it inherently implies that nothing's being done about it. I think, the internet, for example, in the year 2000, the internet was being used for a lot, but it still had a lot of potential, but a lot of stuff was being done about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's fair.
There's just room to grow with opportunity and potential.
All right. We're going to keep wrestling with this. I'm going to keep stewing.
But where would you be in the absence of opportunity or the absence of potential?
Oh.
I think that's a really good question. Mm-hmm. I'll have to consult my counsel.
Your outside counsel.
Yeah. No, I just when people say, Butte's great. There's just so much potential there. There's just a little piece of me that says you're kind of shitting on my town.
Yeah.
And I'm not into that.
Yeah.
But I do get it. It's positive meaning, or the intention is positive, I think.
Yeah. No, and I think that, that shows you how Butte you are, that you have a chip on your shoulder about that. Because that's a very important part of being from Butte is
John, you're real
having a
Butte.
chip on your shoulder with somebody
full Butte.
might
All right,
distinguish
you've done
Butte.
it.
Thanks for the title.
Yeah. I remember, because coming from Colorado, I didn't know anything about Butte. I didn't know anything about Eureka, Ekalaka, 2-dot circle, none of it. And so then meeting, at that time, MSU was almost all, it was all Montanans and then a couple Minnesotans and a kid from Alaska, it wasn't a lot of out-of-staters. And it was funny observing how people treated people from Butte, they'd make jokes, or how Butte people responded to that. Where I'm from, if you made fun of Fort Collins, that's fine. I would make fun of where you're from. And whereas in Butte, it was you made fun of Butte, you want to fight?
It's a personal attack.
Yeah,
right?
and I can living here and talking to people, I can understand where that comes from. They had a lot of, going to other parts of the state and being treated differently. And so I can understand where that comes from. But I think, people aren't attacking you, John. They're not attacking Butte.
That's the therapy session, right?
It's just about this now.
We'll talk off air.
I can. I understand what you mean though, where it's like, hey, it's not just potential; it's already awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know. Maybe it's perspective as well.
Yeah. Wasn't like growth. I feel like if you're not growing, what are you doing? And potential and opportunity mean growth. And I'd rather be growing.
And not just in numbers, like growing in
Growing
culture
in,
and
in all sorts of
community
ways. And, seeing more cool businesses in Uptown, seeing all the things we want to see. That growth, like we want that. That's the potential. But it means the stuff here is already good. It means there's a good foundation.
I can wrap my head around that.
Right?
All right.
Potential, opportunity, good foundation, room for growth.
Okay.
But even as people, we should strive. We should have good foundations, room for growth.
Yeah. All right.
That's Butte.
I'm in.
Okay. We've done it. Thank you.
So there's a sticker on your car that says elevating ideas. Mm-hmm. What are ideas you want to be elevating?
Yeah, all of them. I mean, there's nothing but potential.
No, what are your like big? What's like your top 3 this
Through the
month?
store?
No,
Or just in general? Yeah. I think what I want to do at the end of the day is I want to matter, right? And then and that could come in several different forms, right? So we opened the store 8 years ago so that we can contribute to our community, add a store uptown, add some vibrancy. And then, my passion is being outside and, celebrating people wherever they happen to be at. And so we want to use the store for that kind of a good as well. I also want to help others because I'm not the only one. It takes a village as well, So did that answer any of?
Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
Yeah, and I think I see your work all over town. I don't know how much of that you're still doing for other businesses. I know you do for some clubs and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But I think you really, by doing cool design elements, like cool T-shirts for an elementary school or, a local business, that elevates them by attaching that image to it. Mm-hmm. So good work with that.
Thank you. I
Because
appreciate that. Yeah.
you can have something that's cool, but you can make it a lot cooler, elevate it by attaching those neat design things to it.
And the rising tide truly does lift all ships.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of one of the principles that we stand on is like we want to do ourselves justice, but we also want to bring everyone else with us. And if we can contribute to that in any way and other businesses, sign me up.
And that's a really cool thing about the Nordic community, the cross-country community in Montana that we've experienced is that it's let's everybody lift each other up because the more people we get into it, the more people that enjoy it, then we all have a great time. So it's viewed less as competition and people are always reaching out and like trying to help each other with issues. And like we have a very close relationship with the Mile High Nordic Ski Education Foundation. Months of for short, but or Mile High Nordic. But they groom the golf course, they groom Moulton, they groom Hagen, and then it's with them that we do the elementary program that's on weekdays up at the lodge, and we also have a Saturday Nordic ski team for kids that want to do like a 8-week program, and that's super fun. And so they provide the coaches, and we provide all the gear and the grooming and everything. So that rising tide mentality is so great because
it's like this positive feedback loop that happens, right? And
versus a competition, resources are scarce mentality, which is not nice.
No, and that could be the difference between a Colorado sort of lifestyle or recreational culture versus what we've got out here. Would you say?
I don't know if I know enough to say, but I think that's a potential. I didn't mean to say that. It's a real possibility. That's a real, that definitely could be. I wouldn't be surprised. Like I've talked to a couple Nordic places in Colorado. They were great as well. So I don't know, but I think certainly in like some of the ski areas and that sort of thing, they get real.
Because I don't think we're even near our carrying capacity for recreationists, at least around here.
No, not around here. But it's like there's places I used to go in the tobacco routes. Like you used to go on the east side of the tobacco routes and then got too crowded. And I used to go on like the west side and it got too crowded. I used to go like far south. It's getting more crowded. You don't go those directions
There's
as much.
A lot more number 6 plates floating around.
Yeah. Oh God.
Yeah, it's so funny because like on the weekdays, the CDT South trailhead's right at where we exit to go to our place. And during the week, you see different trucks or cars, and you're like, oh, that's so-and-so, so-and-so. And then on the weekends, it's like just 6 plates, which I'm glad they're getting out and enjoying it. And frankly, we get a lot of our winter business from Missoula, Helena, Bozeman, people who come and stay and ski. And, I know that I love to go other places and check them out. But just since that population has grown so much, it's kind of striking for some of us who are used to having empty trailheads.
Yeah. We are proudly supported by the Covalite Theater. The Covalite Theater is where all the cool kids are hanging out these days, I hear, John.
Uptown Butte.
Uptown Butte. It's at 215 West Broadway. Little address, plug it into your Google Maps, and head there basically any night of the week to catch all sorts of stuff. Like
The Covalite's like the crossroads of the art culture right now.
100%. I mean, there's nothing else like it happening in Butte right now.
2 theaters inside of that old church.
You two venues for the price of one, basically.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they've got it all going on there. They've got open mic. They've got all sorts of other events you can catch. Comedy, film, dance lessons, vaudeville, burlesque, workshops like drink and draw.
Oh, drink and draw is always fun. You've got to go to it.
It's so fun. It's so fun. You drink and you draw, and that's basically it, but it's great.
It's a win for everybody.
It's a win for everybody. You can rent their space for private events. And mostly you can just go boogie to some awesome live music.
Yeah, the Covalite's doing a great job.
Yeah. So go check out the Covalite. You can find them at 215 West Broadway and covalitepresents.org for all the listings for their free and ticketed events. And here's what they've got coming up in the next couple weeks. This weekend, you can see the Cutler Brothers Theater presents Love in the Rockies, a new comedy of errors for Valentine's, on February 14th, 15th, and 16th. Don't forget that every Tuesday this winter is open mic night. On February 19th, check out the Backcountry Film Festival. On February 20th, go see 302 Comedy Presents Regional Comedy Nights. On Friday, February 21st, they're hosting the February featured artist reception, Blacklight Paintings, followed by a free foxtrot lesson and Platinum Street Jazz. On Saturday, February 22nd, don't miss a chance to see the Columbia River Canoe Project at 4 and 7 p.m. For a complete listing, head to covalitepresents.org. We are thrilled to be supported by the one, the only, the legendary M&M Bar and Grill.
Dun, 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 dun.
Did you know that if you're listening to this episode right now on its release date, which is a Thursday, you could pop in your earbuds, waltz down to 17 North Main Street in Uptown Butte, and listen to us while you enjoy our $20 tenderloin dinner. Every Thursday is the M&M's steak night, which includes fries or a baked potato and grilled Texas toast. Oh my God, I'm such a sucker for Texas toast. Mm-hmm. That's a lot of bang for your buck.
Yeah, I tell you what, my go-to meal at the M&M, the King of Clubs Club Sandwich. Now, I'm going to tell you how spoiled I am for just a hot minute here. The M&M is literally 20 feet from my desk. But, I'll just do the waltzing. Mm-hmm. I'll go down to the M&M. They'll whip me up a King of Clubs right in front of me while I sit at the counter and, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. And they've got some killer merchandise from their Long Live the M&M shirts to some sweet vintage throwbacks that I know 5518s had a hand in creating.
That was a fun one. We got a picture from an old-timey hat. We rebuilt that thing, and it is back to life, just like the M&M. It's such a fun design. So eat at the icon, and then you can take home a little piece of that Butte history, right?
You got it. That's the M&M Bar and Grill at 17 North Main Street in Uptown Butte.
We are supported by Casa Grande's Steakhouse. My goodness, you can't beat that hand-cut Rocky Mountain beef with that perfect amount of signature Casa Grande seasoning. Just let me dive into one of those petite fillets. You got to go medium rare with that, Katie. It's literally a religious experience. What's your go-to meal at Casa Grande's?
The Arts spicy cream sauce pasta.
Mm-hmm.
That is like crack. I'm totally obsessed.
Like I said, religious experience.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, the whole menu is truly off the charts. I'm talking made-to-order pastas, chicken, seafood, of course. We can't say Casa Grande Steakhouse without sushi night. If you miss that, you're straight up missing out. Every Thursday, sushi night. thank us later for that. Casa Grande Steakhouse, you'll literally never be disappointed.
And you'll never leave hungry.
For sure. You should actually just order a to-go box with your meal. Casa Grande is located inside the historic Bertoglio building at 801 South Utah Avenue in Uptown Butte. Casa Grande Steakhouse, where you'll always be welcomed as a part of the family. We've got a lot of trim out. So this actually a really good segue. One of the professional development or the professional courses I see lawyers into is cross-country ski lodge ownership.
Yeah.
Is pretty much.
Yeah, it's super typical.
Yeah.
It's very
Again, I'm just a
traditional
walking
path.
cliche.
Yeah.
The next step is, buy yourself a lodge.
How did that come to be?
So wild. And that's really kind of our life as a whole is like, you think you have a plan, but you don't, or you might have a plan, but you're open to other options. And so in like 2018, I was at a firm here in town at Poroth and Robinson, and it was time to either become a partner or not be there anymore. And just various reasons, and the firm was in an interesting stage of its life, and decided to not become a partner. And at that same time, we had sold our house like prior to making that decision, and so like it closed and my job ended on the same day. So we were homeless and unemployed, which is fantastic if you're kind of ready for it, because we didn't have a mortgage payment. And so we traveled a little bit. We had saved up, and so and we travel real frugally. So we spent in early 2019, we spent 5 weeks traveling in Panama with our family, and did a bunch of skiing that spring. That was another joke, like a lawyer who's couch surfing with a family in a friend's basement. So lived
That's about right.
lived in a friend's basement for a while, and bought a place in Anaconda, and it was like a last minute somebody wanted to do a quick sale, and we were able to do it. So we moved to Anaconda and remodeled this really cool old building downtown. And we were doing that, and our friends who started Homestake Lodge, Chris and Mandy, were wanting to do a sabbatical. They were wanting to take 6 months off and sail the Mediterranean. And so we didn't think it would work out, but I had started working with a firm in Helena where I could kind of control the flow of work a little bit. And so I said, I'll take on less legal work, and then I'll train to spend a summer managing the lodge. And that was the plan. And then we ended up managing that summer. It was a COVID summer, so it was super weird as far as all the weddings were canceled almost. And there was a lot of travelers. And then there was this crazy windstorm, like June 13th, 2020, that just trees went every which direction, and a lot of live trees, and super big old Doug firs. And so we had an extra insane amount of work. We did so much work clearing trails, rebuilding fences. It was wild, but we loved it, and it was fun with the kids. And so we thought it was just going to be managing it for a summer. And so we had taken a step back, had trained towards that, but our friends Chris and Mandy said, we're actually going to list it for sale, which we didn't see coming. And that summer we showed it to a bunch of people, a lot of out-of-state people, a lot of Californians who probably would have just shut it down and made it private. It's private property, but they would have not, we allow people to hike and bike and that sort of stuff. And so we managed that summer, showed it to a bunch of people, and Chris and Mandy came back, and we were able to work out a deal with them because we would carry on their kind of vision for it and serving the community and being a part of the cross-country community and having this great asset for Butte people outside. And so, we just decided to take that plunge and put all of our eggs into one basket. So it's scary, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, that had to be and you've got this family at the time.
Yeah.
That you're just not we're going to have to eat.
Yeah.
At some point.
Yep. But you also, I think that's a freedom that we have, some people have, that even if I went back to zero, I've been blessed enough to have the trainings, the education. I've been taught how to work hard. And so that I'd figure something out, things might get rough, but I don't think we'll starve. It's not really a concern of mine.
What was the hook?
Yeah,
I mean,
like
yeah. Why in the world would you buy a
That's-
cross
you're-
country ski area?
you're up at the lodge. You're spending all day with you and your children clearing trees and working your tails off.
That doesn't sound fun though.
So
No, but seriously, like this is like where I'm on a different.
No. I mean, it does. I grew up in the country and doing all sorts of that stuff, so I do get it. But I think a lot of people would not look at that and think that's maximum fun. I want to do manual labor 365 days a year and be outside and
it's not perfect. There's times it's tough, but I don't know. You see people go through life and do different things, and you see some attorneys who are really nailing it. They make good money, but they still have a good family life, and they're a positive member of their community. But there's a lot who aren't. There's a lot who are they're attorneys and they're still struggling to make money, or they're attorneys and they make a lot of money and then they just have golden handcuffs, and they can't. They don't. To me, I don't want a nicer car. I don't want more expensive things. And so I do want to spend time outside. I don't want to write emails all the time, although I still have to write a lot of emails. I don't want to deal with just contrarian stuff. And I was involved in litigation. So in the legal world, there's transactional, which is more, drafting contracts. And there's some adversarialness in there. But in litigation, it's just, you're fighting with the other side. You're fighting with sometimes your client, fortunately not most of the time, but sometimes.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you're fighting with insurance who is paying you on behalf of your client. And it's just exhausting, and you get frustrated with judges or the system, or there's times you just feel like you're helping your client, but you're still a part of the bigger problem that is, insanely expensive litigation process.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of where my mind goes. Like, I'm trying to dive into your motivation on making this big switch over, because I mean, an attorney is a pretty great career. But I see and correct me if I'm connecting the wrong dots, but it's almost as if you wanted to, you saw the potential in doing more for your family. And that doesn't mean making more money. It means living more life.
Precisely. Yeah. And just getting to day in, day out, be outside, learning stuff, trying things. And it's funny being, a skateboarder, a snowboarder, those sorts of things. People might not immediately assume like, oh, you just really enjoy being outside. No, I really enjoy being outside. Like I went on a snowboarding trip in, after our season a couple of years ago. We went to Mammoth with a couple of buddies, and I just talked about trees the whole time, much to my friends' annoyance. I was like, look at that tree. We don't have those,
Like, man, Thieszen's going off the deep end.
Yeah. But yeah, no, trees, plants, mushrooms, rocks. It's fun to learn, and I challenge myself. I'd like to learn new things. And in the law, there's some of that, but it's kind of you're told what to learn. Mm-hmm. And with my brain, I do better at deciding what I want to learn. And so there's just a lot of room for that. And now it's also a necessity. Like, you got to figure out how to fix this diesel engine. It's so that's funny that it's not, to me, it's just readily apparent. Like, I want to go outside and work outside. It's awesome. I get to run chainsaws. I love chainsaws.
a lot of toys.
Ben also loves chainsaws.
Dude, come hang out. I got a fleet. Oh yeah.
Oh, you don't have to ask him twice. Wow. He's gonna be up there full time now.
Great. Let's see. We'll sharpen chains, cut trees down.
Oh my gosh.
Awesome.
I mean, it does sound awesome.
Yeah.
Like I know it's got to be a ton of work, but I'm sure super rewarding as well.
Yeah, and it's fun. Like in college I worked at World Boards in Bozeman, and the owner there said, just keep in mind, we sell fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's go back to that. We sell fun. And it's interesting going to some ski areas. You're like, you've lost sight of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can, everybody has a bad day. I'm sure I've been grumpy with people, but it's neat, seeing people have those moments, enjoy those memories. Like in the winter, like our lodge can just be really cozy, and you see people like building relationships, or you see families having those like special moments. Because I didn't ski a ton with my family growing up, but we would go up into Wyoming to this kind of mom and pop place, not quite Montana mom and pop, but like, just random little ski area. And those are the best memories I have of, spending time with my dad. And it's neat to see people doing that and to be able to facilitate it. And if we can enhance it, a lot of people have never had a crate before we serve them a crate, and a lot of people have, but it's just that, kind of having a whole experience.
And how lucky are you that you get to do that with your kids?
Yeah.
Like that doesn't just happen.
No, and it's trying to, find that balance of having them work, but not overdo it. And so, sometimes we do a great job. Sometimes we mess up.
I thought that's the reason you have kids.
Yeah.
Put them to work.
Little employees.
Soccer takes up so much time. High school sports. Oh my goodness.
I'm going to have words with my parents then, because that's all they said. Get to work, young man.
Get to work. No, that's all my kids hear. So
I'm sure in their minds. Yeah.
But it's fun too because they, there's the labor side of it, but they also get to do the hospitality side. And you were asking earlier, like, what do you do? And that's probably a better description, is that I'm in hospitality, and skiing is part of our hospitality. But it's neat to see, Torsten, our youngest, at like 9 years old, and now he's 10. But you'd be like, I think that family might struggle on their ski a little bit, and like go catch up to them and like. And he would go and like say, let's go this way. And just their kids would like bring out their kids and they'd have so much fun.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So it's neat.
That's
neat to
cool.
see. And then, our middle child, Elsa, ran a bunch of the fourth grade teaching things. And so, although she was 12 at the time, she's teaching 30 fourth graders how to ski. And it's just really neat.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's fun. You learn different skills and get to do different stuff. And
yeah.
I love America, but I feel like we've become really focused on this is the only way to do things. Everybody should be on the same path. I feel like there's a lot of different ways to do things.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
What's some of the stuff that you've had to figure out running this lodge that you didn't anticipate you'd need these skills?
Oh.
Aside from everything, I'm sure.
Yeah. Man, I so many different random thoughts come running through your mind. You just can't even say.
Yeah.
One of the funny things is like how useful my law degree has been at times.
I bet.
Because dealing with the state when we were getting our beer and wine license was really frustrating, and it's just a bizarre kind of archaic Montana approach. And it's not even, a lot of people are like, oh, it's expensive and it's valuable. Like, no, this is not like a Bozeman license that's worth $1 million. It's an over the county unlimited beer and wine license. Right. And yet they treat you like you're, getting qualified for top secret service information, it's just like bizarre. But, I think just the jumping from one thing to another, like, oh, you have to learn how to try to fix this thing and then also go back and deal with people and cook. And so there's been a lot of unanticipated things, but all in all, it's fun because it's just challenging and learning. I think the exhaustion is a challenge that we don't always pace ourselves real well. So.
Well, especially when the snow falls. You've got, whether you're ready or not.
That's interesting though. So 2 years ago was the most epic winter ever. Mm-hmm. And I put so many more hours on, because I plow the road from our place to the interstate. So that's 3 miles of plowing.
And then people to the place to get,
And then there's snowmobile grooming, and then there's snowcat grooming. And then we're also doing hospitality stuff, cooking food and helping people. But that is like a clear objective, plow the road, groom the snow, serve the people. And that's fantastic. And although exhausting, it was like, I loved it. Whereas this year, where you have a later start, like we have people coming to ski this weekend and we have some skiing, but it's not amazing. And so you're trying to like make decisions on where do I put my efforts right now? What should I be doing with my time? I should work on this. I should work on this. I should work on this. But those are more challenging decisions, and they're more stressful decisions. And it's more stressful when you can't deliver a product that you'd like to deliver, which, it's out of your hands. It's out of, it's in nature's hands. But So this year is a lot. It's probably like the hardest type of stuff where you're just like, crap.
Waiting for the snow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then how do you just like stay motivated to get up in the middle of the night and start grooming?
It's nice. It's a good thing to do.
You just flip on the flip on the radio and go to town.
Yeah. There's times like during weekdays later in the season where it's like, sometimes I struggle more with popping out of bed. But Saturdays is my big grooming day. We use the snowcat. It's so fun. And it's, time-wise, it's like driving to Spokane or something. But,
Yeah, I'm sure.
but you're just in the woods. It's beautiful. There's these, big white snowshoe hares running around. And again, I think it's that I get excited to bless other people. I get excited like, oh, people are going to have so much fun skiing this.
Yeah.
And I frankly look at it like I get to do it, like it's a privilege that I get to do this. It's not like I have to do it. It's man, I'm so excited I can make something that people really enjoy.
Yeah. Well, I don't think the general public knows how good of a lodge and a facility that is, and just across the board.
Yeah.
And for
Okay.
4 seasons as well. Right?
Yeah.
Summertime as
Because, okay, regrettably, I've never been up there, which is
You
crazy.
will next summer for Alex George's wedding.
Yeah. We will be up there, but I would like the goal is to get up there. We both cross country ski. I'm bad. Ben's great.
Skate or classic, Ben? Sorry to interrupt, Katie. Classic. You gotta try skate skiing. Yeah, if you're that juiced, you gotta.
Look at him.
He would love it. I'm there to like trot along and drink a beer.
Yeah.
I'm for the leisure hour, but we've not been up there. So I want like I need to know everything about it. Like the sales pitch, not because I need to be sold on it, because I want to like get more excited about it. And I don't know as much about it as I would like to. And I feel like all of us here in Butte, we love to tell people about Butte, the right people.
Yeah, that's right.
And so I want to add
not
another thing to my roster of great things to sell Butte to people with. And I feel like Homestake Lodges should be top of that list.
You are correct. It should be top of the list. So it's a beautiful, cozy lodge that, so much southern sun comes in and you just soak it up. And we have wood burning stoves going. And on Saturdays and Sundays, we have homemade soups, and then we're baking fresh rolls throughout the day. And then we have a European crepe maker. So we're making, crepes with Gruyere and fresh rosemary or Nutella.
Dude, they're so good.
Yeah.
The one you made me last year.
Yeah. And then the lodge is just a really cozy place. There's like multiple wood tables and different places to sit, but then there's also couches and then just sitting by the fire. And so it's come up on a Saturday or Sunday. Saturday mornings, there's more people with our youth program, but come up and hang out and go for a ski, have a beer, go for another ski. We work with Snowflinga Snowflinga is a great time if you've never tried skate skiing and you want a free skate skiing lesson, and we have the gear. So just delving into skate skiing a little bit. I grew up cross country skiing where it was just plodding through the woods, which is fun and beautiful and gorgeous. But we weren't going anywhere fast, and we were going wherever we felt like it. That's great. That's what I would call like touring classic or slow classic. We groom our trails to a really high standard, which allows really good classic skiing in set tracks, or skate skiing, which the motion's a little bit more like ice skating. And where I liken it to cross-country mountain biking, where you maintain more speed. It's a lot more aerobic. And then we have, some pretty mellow trails, but we also have some like really fun downhill trails. And if you're like me, where I've ridden some stuff on my snowboard that's pretty intense, but you get on skinny skis with no edges and you go on a hill and it's just fun. It's like, it doesn't feel dangerous, but it's exciting. So
It feels dangerous to me.
it's a really great it's a really great activity for like, it's like, I want to get exercise. I want to be outside. And I want to have some excitement. It like checks all those boxes. But we also have a lot of trails that are, we have one called Cart Path where you go back And you just feel like you're in the middle of nowhere, this little magic winter wonderland. And, usually by yourself back there. And there's like a 4-foot diameter spruce tree and these cool aspen. And, you can see on some of the aspens where bears have climbed them years ago and it's left scars. And you just have those experiences where you're observing stuff. So come to Homestake Lodge for a wonderful outdoor experience. And also this year with Bob Ward's closing, we are carrying a decent bit of retail gear. So if you know somebody looking for stuff, we have some great soft goods, but also hard goods. We have some like insane deals on high end skis that, we kind of got a year old brand new gear, but it's year old.
Yeah.
And so, if you're like, I want to get top of the line gear for way less, then come on up. And we also have some entry level stuff too.
Well, that's a good point because the industry that you're in it seems like it's always in flux, at least around here. I don't know industry wide, but locally, Bob Ward's was the one ski shop and the one Nordic shop in town, and that's closed. Then on top of that, you've got climate change, but that's also localized, and it's just like, how do you navigate all this stuff?
I try not to think about it too much and just you just make decisions that make sense for us because we're such a small player that we try to be good stewards of the land in every way we can, and then also just try to be a part of the community and support it. But I hope it's just we're stepping out of our stuff. Like in Butte, there's no skateboard shop either, and there it's a tough, those things bring a lot of culture and growth to a town. Like if you want to try, football, it's a clear path for it. But if, you want to try something else like BMX or who knows what, it's a much more of a challenge. And sometimes those hurdles, create the persistence or that kind of punk DIY attitude that makes it awesome. Yeah. But it's helpful if there's a little bit of a guiding light there. So, I like that there's, bike shops like Derailed and Bad Beaver, but I hope that we see a lot more of shops like that. And, there's a neat bike shop in Anaconda now and stuff like that. But I know you guys are against new small businesses in Butte, but
we don't want
I'm for it.
Yeah. No potential, no opportunities.
Get them out of here. You want more empty buildings.
We are supported by Steele's Furniture and Appliance. John, this seems insane, but do our notes say they've been in business for 94 years?
That is 100% correct. And hey, kudos to our crackpot team of factoid checkers. Yeah, Steele's is a 4th-generation business located right here in Butte. They're selling just about everything you need for every room of your house. So Serta, Beauty Rest mattresses for the bedroom, Maytag and Amana, KitchenAid kitchen appliances, Lazy Boy and Stanton and Ashley furniture, all sold industry-leading products. I'm sure I'm missing a bunch, but to anybody out there, just know that Steele's is literally like the largest furniture and appliance warehouse in the area.
And the one thing that they offer that sometimes gets overlooked is their home accents and seasonal items. Those are the real pops of personality that make a house truly your own.
I daydream about getting home every day after work and sitting down for the rest of time on my beautiful sectional couch that I got from Steele's. That's literally one of my favorite grown-up purchases I think I've ever made.
Steele's Furniture, how can you not love a business that's been around longer than, I don't know, the television?
Like the old picture box?
Shop online at steelsfurniture.com, or better yet, head on over to 800 South Wyoming Street in Butte, Montana.
Katie, one address for you, 146 West Park Street. Tell me what you know about that corner.
It's the corner?
It's the corner.
I'm not great at geography, John.
It's also not geography.
Oh, God.
That is Montana and Park Street, right where Taco del Sol is. We are supported by Taco del Sol. Ugh, and that burrito bowl, give it to me.
Okay, John, but I'm a pita pit girl.
That's not geography either.
Well, you're right. I don't know what it is. But we're also supported by Pita Pit.
Pita Pit's so good. Ugh. Why are we so lucky with these restaurants uptown?
I don't know, but those 2 spots are like my go-to for lunch in town. It's quick, it's fresh, it's delish.
I mean, my hack is that burrito bowl.
No,
Right.
I mean, I am a big fan of the burrito bowl. And did you know that the Taco del Sol in Butte actually has some stuff that the other Taco del Sols in like Montana don't have? Because there are other ones in Montana, but you can only get like the mango salsa and the Southwest barbecue sauce like here in Butte. Those are things specific to the Butte location, which I think is so cool.
Really? I'm a
Yeah.
mango salsa guy. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it's just a Butte thing. So you got to come to the Butte Taco del Sol. And I've been a pita pit fan forever.
Ugh, the falafel pita.
That is my go-to. I'm not even joking. That is what I
Yes.
get. It's so good. It's just when I'm craving just a quick, delicious, healthy lunch, I'm just waltzing into pita pit. And it's always so quick that
I mean, here's the thing. We're all busy, right? And
Yes.
so it's hard to get like quick, good, healthy, fresh food. Pita Pit, Taco del Sol, hand in hand
oh yeah,
with awesome.
it meets all kinds of needs. You're not in the mood for one, you're definitely going to be in the mood for the other.
Yeah.
They've got bowls, salads, wraps, tacos, burritos. I mean, across everything.
And smiles.
And smiled. I mean, everybody that works there is so great.
Yeah.
And
Golly.
I just will eat some queso, even though that's naughty for me, but I love it.
Taco del Sol. Do you remember that geography lesson we had earlier? 146 West Park Street in Uptown. It's on the corner of Montana and Park Street.
And Pita Pit is right next door at 140 West Park Street.
I can get on board with that.
140, 146 West Park, right on the corner. Stop in. Tell them you said hey.
Yeah. And just eat it all up.
Enjoy.
Hey, Katie, do me a favor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Close your eyes for a sec. Take a journey with me. You're out on the sidewalk of 5518. You know, maybe you're taking in one of those beautiful new window displays, soaking it in, making sure that it's got that Katie magic.
Mm-hmm.
It's a beautiful day. The sun is shining. And there's a slight breeze. But then you take a big, deep breath because you're proud of yourself. And that's the moment when you notice a hint of that familiar scent that often dances between the buildings of Uptown Butte. Then you hear it. And you know where I'm going with this, right? Oh, Juice, hit me with that. Rip it, dunk it, eat it.
Rip it, grip it, dunk it, eat it.
Yes, Katie, you guessed it. We are supported by our friends over at Pork Chop John's.
Oh, PCJs. Nothing beats a loaded pork chop sandwich. Except maybe I really just hammer down those pork nuggets. I can't help it. I love those things.
They're so good.
They're so good. They're addicting. And then I have that jingle stuck in my head for the next 2 days.
Grip it. It's so worth it. It's so worth it.
So good.
Pork Chop John's is home to the original pork chop sandwich. It was first opened in 1932.
Ugh.
And then the Orzati family took it over in 1969. Those guys are just the best. I'd say they had some big shoes to fill, but maybe it's like more like they've got a big pork chop sandwich to eat. I don't know. But just know that PCJ's is in some very good hands.
And I just learned they wholesale all over the northern part of the country.
It's an operation.
Montana, Wyoming, North and South Dakota, Idaho. For you and us to get our PCJ fix, there's 2 locations in Butte. The Uptown Restaurant at 8 West Mercury Street has a sweet, old school counter and the sweetest little walk-up window.
Oh, I love that.
I love the window.
Mm-hmm.
And then the downtown location with a full dining room and the drive-through, because sometimes I just can't get out of my car. And that's at 2400 Harrison Ave.
And feel free to stop at either. Get your pork chop sandwich, get those pork nuggets that Katie's gonna hammer, and then you go and you rip it, grip it.
Rip it, grip it, dunk it, eat it.
Yeah, it's the one thing I do talk to a lot of the customers that come into 5518, I have a conversation with them oftentimes about how Butte has always been a recreation town.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, mining might have been louder, but if you think about the 4 or 5 downhill ski areas that we had within eyeshot of where we're sitting now, and all of the other, talking about rock climbing on the pass and the CDT and Georgetown Lake and, the list goes on. We are a recreation destination, but we're still kind of low key.
Mm-hmm. One, I love that you're a hub for that and like giving people some guidance on like, hey, here's opportunities of places to go. And I mean, I think you realize that like hard goods is not what it used to be. It's kind of a dead end road.
It really is.
So, but that I like that you're still a hub for that information and knowledge. And we used to live pretty close to Fran Johnson's sports shop.
good old days,
And
yeah.
dude, man, I loved going in there and like looking at the old articles and the old stories of fishing on the big hole. And
There used
like,
to be a
is it-
train, a fishing train from Butte to the Big Hole that would just
So
take
cool.
What?
fishermen. That's it. How
Yeah.
cool is that?
That's
It's like
crazy.
drop a nickel in the hat up front
And get
we'll
on the
take you to
fishing
river.
train.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And I guess I'll just throw out there that's one neat part of that answers a question from a while ago. What's been an unexpected thing is just the random community that you have. You know, we don't have real close neighbors, but who you consider your neighbors and the community that you become a part of. You know, there's Norm who has the grazing rights for the property around us, so his cattle come. And then there's a amethyst miner, you know, a couple miles north. And so we go visit Russ, and he's just the most generous guy. And like, I don't know anything about stuff that's in the ground. So it's neat for him to explain all of it. And then Harold Lear he's up there, man. He's probably an octogenarian, but like, he's done more miles of trails around here, you know, starting back in the day on dune buggies and Jeeps, and then now side by side, you know, then four wheelers and side by sides. But he's just a volunteer, you know, he's out there building bridges and, you know, maintaining trails and just doing it for the love, you know, picking up people's trash from parties. And so it's just neat to get to know people like that and be a part of the community of there. I think that's one thing that's really Butte and Montana to me is that person has maybe very different views than I do. And the things they like to do might be totally different. And the music they listen to is different. And there's a lot of stuff that I'm not a huge fan of, maybe with some people, but that I know they've got my back and they know I've got their back if we need it. And that there's a real understanding of, I love people who aren't like me. Whereas I feel like in a lot of places where there's so many people who are so like-minded, you don't interact face to face with other people and you
Yeah.
don't help other people. And man, I've been helped by a lot of people. And so we try to help others as well.
It certainly takes a village.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much for doing all of the things.
Likewise. Likewise to you both.
The one question that I do ask all of our guests on here is that the culture of Butte, where we live, is a real historical culture, right? We always talk about what Butte was like 100 years ago and how amazing it was back in the day. And what I want to ask you is that the work you're doing here in town is really valuable, and you've got your fingerprints on the current culture. If we can fast forward 100 years into the future, what are those people going to look back at this time and the work that you're doing? What are they going to say about what's going on right now?
Yeah, I think they're going to say it's a time of just revitalization in Butte of like changing identity from that the recreation's always been there, but that the recreation and then the community will be changing to allow so much growth and potential. I think the arts and the artistic side is something that I don't notice, but I see like you guys doing Desperate Electric, and I see other people, you know, Sophia Kirkos doing stained glass from time to time. And I think, you know, I hope that in 50 years from now, somebody will be like, I was in third grade and I went skiing at Homestake Lodge, and there was an old man who volunteered and helped, and there was kids helping. And then I went again in fourth grade, and that just started my love for skiing, whether it's Nordic skiing, whether it's some other skiing, where it started my appreciation for being in the outdoors. And now I've, you know, had a career of helping the forest or just things like that. I think it's little sparks that can go a long ways. And so I just hope that people look back at this time and say, you know, the people who were there were putting in work. They didn't throw up their hands and say, well, somebody else will do it, or there's no hope for this place, or, there's no interest here. I hope they look back and say, oh, there was a variety of people that really put in a lot of work, and it has created a lot of opportunities for us. We now have awesome trails. We have cool opportunities in town, all of those sorts of things.
Yeah. Well, thanks, because
Yeah.
you're doing it.
Thanks,
Yeah.
man. Likewise.
One last thing real quick. How do people find you guys to get trail passes, information? Do you have social medias, all of that sort of sales pitchy stuff?
Yeah. We have a outdated website, but there's information there. So just go to homestakelodge.com.
Awesome.
Homestake Lodge. Homestake is not like the beef. It's like you put a stake in the ground. So HOMESTAKE. And
Now I see where you were going with that.
yeah.
It's like it's not like the beef.
And so there's just a lot of information on there. Things people should be checking out is we have a women's skate ski clinic, and that is awesome. We bring in coaches who are like super talented, and it's just great vibes. We often have like 60 women come together and just it's their first time ever skate skiing. Some have done it, for 15 years. But it's just really cool vibes. So that's one to sign up for and do. Come buy a season pass and ski all the time, or just come for a day. We do, it's like $17 for a trail pass for a day. We also rent skier, and we have a kids program. So it's, inexpensive on Saturday mornings. You come for like 8 weeks. So sign up, because that starts right after Christmas. So go to our website or call us. And that's just a really fun way to teach your kids to get outside. And cross-country skiing isn't always appealing to a lot of kids, but if they do it with other kids, then they love it and they have a great time. And then if you want to support the elementary ski program, donate to Mile High Nordic and say, this is for the elementary ski program, because it's run entirely on donations and grants. So shout out to the Dennis and Phyllis Washington Foundation, 5518, Leidzig's Tire, Hancock, a bunch of places sponsor it, and REC. So thanks to all those people who make that happen. But yeah, we have social media. We're not very good at that either, but it's out there.
Get you on it more. I was looking at it.
Yeah, sorry.
Let's put that mug on.
You
social media a little more.
gotta tell us
John,
what to do better.
You got a guy for that.
That's right. That's right.
The girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Snowflinga is also really good. So Snowflinga is a winter festival, a winter recreation festival that happens towards the end of January every year.
Yep.
And that's a great weekend. You guys offer a lot of like free lessons, free trail passes.
Yeah,
anything
and
else? Snowshoeing, I think you've done up
there's
there.
snowshoeing, skate skiing, cross-country skiing. We also do snow skating. So for younger people, that's
right.
pretty fun. It's kind of a cross between snowboarding and skateboarding. It's a great time. And just being a part of Snowflinga as a whole, you're going back to your question, like, what do people look back at? And like the start of Snowflinga, that's really, people put a lot of effort in. And we used to do a snowboard competition uptown. That was cool.
Oh, I saw you rip that out. I remember that.
Shredding, man. So I think stuff like that, get involved. If you already know how to do all this winter stuff, then give back, volunteer. Give us a call if you want to volunteer. And then, plan a funky event. We do night skiing.
Cool.
Give us a call and be like, hey, I want to go night skiing, and then have some hot chocolate or beer in the lodge. And we'll be like, let's do it.
Yes.
So
I want to go night skiing.
yeah,
Done.
it's awesome.
Done.
Yeah.
Well, thanks. You're bringing people together. I love that you said like you're creating sparks in people. I think that's super important. So keep crushing it. Keep shredding.
Likewise. Likewise. Thanks for having me on, and keep doing all the amazing things you guys are doing. I know there's times of fatigue and there's times you're like, are we doing anything? But you guys are. You really are.
Yeah.
So,
Ditto. Well, thanks, man.
yeah.
Thank you.
Of all the places.
Thanks so much for hanging out with us today. And thank you to our guest, the owner and operator of Homestake Lodge Ski Area, Mark Thieszen. If you're a fan of the show, please don't forget to hit the follow and subscribe button on your favorite podcast app and over on our YouTube channel. And be sure to check out Of All the Places podcast on Facebook and Instagram. Of All the Places is produced by Morris Mountain Productions in partnership with 5518 Designs. Our theme song is made specifically for this show by everyone's favorite power duo, Desperate Electric. For Katie and Ben, this is John. Thanks so much for listening to Of All the Places podcast.